Greenwashing is believed to be becoming increasingly common. Is greenwashing becoming a risk or challenge towards sustainable investment?
Like now, everybody is jumping in the bandwagon to say, oh, my company is a green company or my fund is a green. But yet, nobody really knows exactly how much you contribute to sustainability. So you are right, greenwashing is very common now, which is why European side is coming out with certain rules and regulation, the definition of, when can you use the word ESG. But what is most important is regulation and the organization that you're part of.
Greenwashing is certainly a major challenge that's facing ESG or SRI investment, because of the fact we do not have established standards, right? There's no clear-cut way of trying to identify whether an ESG company is compliant or not, right? And I'd be happy if someone can actually point me in the right direction. But if you ask one house investment firm whether this is ESG compliant, you might get 3 different answers, 4 or 5 different answers. But there are efforts from the regulators that is trying to structure it, right? And discussions are actually ongoing. I think the Securities Commission, Bank Negara to a certain extent, Bursa, are involved in these global discussions to a certain extent, and they are involving market players, the businesses as well, to collectively form this consensus in terms of a framework, bearing in mind that current standards for ESG and SRI are Western standards in general. The problem for us now in our jurisdiction is for us to bridge that gap, to adopt those standards, and while adopting those standards, we're not penalized in return.
Greenwashing concerns should evaluate over time as regulators push for more standardized ESG data reporting. For example, the European Union has put forward a package of measures to set up performance thresholds and safeguards to help investors and companies in the process. Just this month, it unveiled its classification system that will define green investments. I think all this will gradually help in terms of seeing what companies, what products are truly ESG as opposed to those that are doing greenwashing.
Well, with any form of misrepresentation by an investee company, investors need to filter such risks by adopting a thorough, fundamental research process and robust screening methodologies.
Investors can minimize the risk of greenwashing when choosing funds by selecting ESG funds where the fund's stock universe is based on components of an established ESG index. This ensures that the ESG factors of the stocks invested by the funds have been screened by the index provider. Investors should also choose ESG funds where the portfolios are closely monitored and reviewed by the fund managers to ensure that the fund's objectives and investments are consistent with the fund's stated objectives. Greenwashing poses a challenge to SRI funds, but with proper ESG integration in the stock selection process by the fund managers, the SRI funds will achieve their sustainability objectives and reward investors over the long run.
Due to the rise in interest in ESG, there are businesses who are not ESG compliant but are claiming to be ESG compliant. This greenwashing activity is a serious matter. Nonetheless, regulators globally are taking steps to develop a framework which will lessen the occurrence of greenwashing. Even so, before investing, investors are advised to do their due diligence thoroughly to ensure that their intended investments truly are ESG compliant.